This is Stacy McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast, where CEOs, senior leaders, and C-suite executives share their advice. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best leaders know how to share their ideas concisely and quickly. Let's jump right in. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
Hey, Stacy, my name is Scott King. I'm based out of Dallas, Texas, and I'm actually in charge of product marketing and demand generation for a software company called Zimperium. And we make sure that no one is hacking your mobile devices and mobile apps.
Wow, we need that more today than ever, considering, there's how many of us have multi-devices now in our living rooms, right? The phones, the iPads, and all the additional things. So I appreciate your service there.
I appreciate you almost being a customer. How about that?
That's great. So I'm curious, Scott, what's the best thing about leading people from your perspective?
The best thing is really to empower people. I think, helping them grow, being mindful of their journey is probably the best thing. So I'm really into mindfulness and personal growth. I am curious by nature, so I kind of do that all by myself, and then just kind of leading by example. So make sure you're staying on top of your game and telling great stories.
Yeah, I love the congruency that leadership provides, right? It's leading by example is so important there. I'm curious, I will sometimes hear from other leaders, business would be great if it weren't for that pesky people part. I'm curious, what do you think about a comment like that?
I think it depends on what kind of business you're in. Surely that could apply somewhere. Maybe if you were in some type of automation or supply chain business, but the business that I've been in for the last 20 some odd years, enterprise software, is very people oriented because people are, they're looking to improve the customer experience, and customers normally are people. And those customers have money with credit card numbers that they type into websites. So I tend to think that people are pretty important on both sides, solving a problem and being the problem solver.
Absolutely. So if I had a group of leaders sitting in front of you right now, what piece of advice about communication would you give to them?
It's a pretty easy one for me. I don't know if it's, that I'm from Texas, but I've always been told that I'm a straight shooter. So I think really just, sometimes the truth hurts, but it's always helpful. So just be honest, make sure and be truthful, and really just be all around good person and treat everybody that, how you want to be treated. I think it's pretty simple. I think any kind of deviation from that, you're going to get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you have a bit of an advantage with that lovely southern accent that you have there that just kind of makes everything feel so much nicer.
Well, I've been told that I have a pretty neutral accent. People ask me where I actually grew up because I don't sound like I'm from Texas, but native Texan, never lived anywhere else.
That's awesome. So as you think about, your community and where you look to get insights or learning or best practices, who else from your perspective should be on the podcast? Who else should people be paying attention to and listening out there?
Well, I had the benefit of talking to a lot of people on my own marketing podcast. So I have a lot of suggestions, but someone that I always, I even go back and listen to my own episode of my own podcast with Carla Johnson. She's an amazing storyteller. And then I also continuously talk with my friend Derek Weeks. Derek and his partners, Mark Miller, they actually run and operate a 24-hour webinar on DevOps, and they do all the logistics and the video production and everything themselves. It's really amazing. I think last time they had 33,000 people register for that thing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's quite an accomplishment, especially today. All the distraction and other things to do, right? That's incredible.
Yeah, and I think they got to jump on this, coronavirus work from home situation. They've been doing this for years, so now people like seek their advice on, hey, how do you do these big events? So they got lucky.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What's luck? Preparedness plus opportunity, right?
Yeah, I believe so. You have to do the things to make you lucky to see luck. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, magic question number 6 for you. I'm curious, as you reflect on in your journey, who's been your favorite boss or teacher? Who's really influenced you?
Wow, there's a lot of favorite bosses or teachers, but um, I think they all kind of share the same attributes, really just empowerment. Don't do it for you, but enable you to do a good job, remove constraints on your learning. So in any favorite boss, that was it. It was really just to make sure that they empower you and they trusted you. So I think trust goes a long way. So on teachers, teachers always trust you, but someone that makes you kind of expand your horizons and think of in new directions, I think that would be a good teacher. I haven't had a teacher in a long time, so it's hard to answer.
Yeah, I appreciate all those things, and an answer that I got once that I really appreciated was they looked at time as their teacher, right? That consummate, learning and growing, and I thought that's a really great way to think about it. That constant and never-ending improvement sort of perspective.
Yeah, I stole a time management skill, I think from listening to a podcast. I think it was Jimmy Chin. I don't know if I'm attributing this to him correctly, but he got asked for so many things that he kind of said, "Okay, my decision criteria is hell yes, I'm going to do it, or no." So if it's kind of a maybe, just don't do it and do something else. So I kind of use that.
I love that. It's part of our hiring process too. It's like no equals no, yes equals yes, maybe equals no.
Yeah,
So, to really kind of force you into one bucket or another. I
yeah, same
appreciate
idea.
that. Yeah, for sure. Well, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the show, Scott. I really appreciate your ideas and your insights. I'm curious if somebody wanted to reach out and introduce themselves or learn more, how might they go about that?
I'm pretty easy to find. If you just type in the Scott King in Google, the first couple of pages is going to be my site, LinkedIn, Twitter, podcast. So just thescottking.com probably be the best place.
It's I'm glad to see you've dominated those first couple of pages there, being in the software biz. That's good.
Yeah, just pick a term. All of my handles and tags and everything, the Scott King. So it's pretty simple.
That's great. Well, I encourage everybody to do that. And in the meantime, this is Stacy McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast. For more ideas and insights, please do go check us out at www.concilioteam.com. And we look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care.
Hey, thanks a lot, Stacy.